When I was 16, they were going to ordain me to become a priest.
Wow.
Me. I used to do LSD and drugs,
Right.
fuck chicks,
It's sort of out of place a little bit. And here's the puppy. What's the
I
dog?
got my little friend. Ugg.
Ugg. How you doing, Ugg?
Like a cave. He's my little French dog. He's all right. He keeps me happy, He's when you walk in the door, they freak out or whatever. So how you doing?
I'm doing good.
See me okay?
I can see you. I can hear you. I actually saw a little bit of Ugg in the documentary, which I was actually really interested by, Mean Man. It looks like there was a lot that went into this documentary.
Yeah. It took, I think it started six years ago, or probably 2004. I've been here 2014. It started 2015, and the guy filmed from the first show of Mean Man of my band. Then he filmed this show and that show, and he's a bunch of shows, and he's done by the house, do interviews and stuff like that. It's just what's gone on in my life in the last 5 years. Plus, it goes way back in my high school days. He went to America and talked to a bunch of people that I went to school with. Some people I went to elementary school with too.
Yeah, which was really interesting because we got to, learn a lot of things about your past. And one of the things I learned is that you were brought up in a family that really had mostly a traditional Mormon upbringing. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, my mother and dad separated when I was 2. So you live with your mom, and she was like in her 20s, and what happens is usually in the weekends or whatever, the kids are sent to the grandparents. Right. When a separation, the grandparents always take the kids, and my mom's side was Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to make me go to church every Sunday. When I was 16, they were going to ordain me to become a priest.
Wow.
That's me. I used to do LSD and drugs, fuck chicks,
It's sort of out of place a little bit.
It's like I was lying to him, And when I was 16, I just told the bishop when I was 16, he goes, Chris, they ordain you. I don't know if you've ever been to a Mormon church. I've never been to a Catholic church, but they ordain you when you're 12. You're a deacon. That's when you get into the priesthood.
Okay.
14, you become this thing called a teacher. 16, you're a priest, and 18, you're an elder and go on a mission usually.
So it comes in different steps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so when I was 16, they were going to make me a priest, and I just told the guy the truth, I go, I don't feel worthy of the position you're going to offer me because I do drugs, and I'm not going to stop doing drugs. I drink alcohol. I did a lot of really, really good things in the Mormon Boy Scouts,
Okay.
I mean, things that most of my friends, that a lot of people that I know never got to do. I got to go down the Grand Canyon.
Nice.
From the beginning to the end in the rapids, just a bunch of stuff like that. Plus, my Boy Scout leader used to be the judge in Glendale, where I got in a lot of trouble.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So a little connection there.
Oh, yeah. He helped
That's
me
hilarious.
He helped me in court a few times on some DUIs. Yeah.
A lot of action going on there. So you had some structure in the Boy Scouts, and you liked that.
It was like being Roger Stone in America. I didn't get pardoned. It was just he was a lot more lenient to me, where they should have thrown me in jail for a few things. He was a lot more lenient,
And it didn't happen, but sort of because of that.
He could have thrown the book at me. He didn't. And eventually he helped me through up to my 3rd DUI that I had before I was 20. I didn't drive till I was 18. Wow. But then I eventually ended up getting 6.
And you said that getting the 6th was actually a blessing for you, sort of in disguise. Is that right?
Well, they try to make you go to a program, see if you're an alcoholic, and make you stop in the program and help people. And most of the other ones, I just just get through it and go along with life and be the way I am. But the sixth one, I actually listened to the counselor and stuff, and it was in 96 when I got my sixth one, 95 really. And the counselor promised me if I was to quit drinking for 1 year, I'd never drink again. I thought that was odd. 1 year. And I'm like, and I never thought about doing anything. I've done, since I've been 13 or 12, heavy narcotics, not just smoking dope.
Right.
I mean, LSD, cocaine, heroin, everything. Hard too. And I've never really had to quit anything, but I was like, what's a year, man? I could quit. I could stop drinking for a year. He goes like this, Chris, think of it this way. You're not losing anything. You can always go back to it.
I guess so. It would be there if you chose to go back.
Yeah. So when he told me that I could always go back to it. I was like, wow, I'm not losing anything, because if you're born at a different era than I am. When I was young, if you didn't do drugs and alcohol, you're an outcast.
Right. Well, that's sort of coming back now, actually, unfortunately, and it seems to be with deadlier drugs, which is a sad thing.
Well, when you bought drugs when I was young, it was safe. They weren't just to make money. It wasn't just a money-making thing. You could buy some. The first time I took LSD, I was 12.
Wow.
And I look at a 12. I was in seventh grade. I look at a 12-year-old today, and I go, man, I couldn't even comprehend that. It was safe then.
What was it like when you did it for the first time at that age?
Well, my next door neighbor, this guy named Gary, was a Mormon. He had 3 older brothers. So your older brother, I had an older brother, usually turns you on to things. And at a young age, and we were going to school, and it was seventh grade. You're 12, and we're going to school, and he opened up this tinfoil thing on the bus. I go, "What's that?" He goes, "This is my window pane my brother gave me." He talked me into taking it. Before we, so I popped it, and I remember the teacher, and she called usually on a lot of schools they have chalkboards on the walls. Right. And the teacher will say, so-and-so get up and do an equation. I was called to do an equation. And when I put the chalk on the chalkboard, it stood off about this far. Whoa, man, I was like, wow, man, now this is happening.
So you're in the classroom.
Yeah. When I came on to the LSD, it was great.
Wow.
Saw my friend in his class, and he had a glow around him, man. And we used to drop LSD and go to church.
Wow.
Oh yeah, everybody's singing in there and everything. I probably saw God a bunch of times.
Did anybody suspect that you would be on LSD in church? Because it might just seem so out there, you may never suspect it.
When I was a young age, my brother, he told me, he says, no matter what, how high you are or whatever, if somebody looks at you, just look them back. Don't say anything, just look them back, even with you're seeing colors and this and that. And it's that cool, and they'll never know.
My gosh. So he gave you the advice to keep it on the down low.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think I was 14, right? And we were going to go see I think it was Johnny Winter at the Shrine Auditorium, and everybody dropped LSD in the car going down there. My brother had hung a U-turn in front of the fire station. This is down in LA. Mm-hmm. He passed the shrine, but went 2 blocks down, hung a U-turn, and got pulled over. And it was this cop on a motorcycle. And he pulled all us young kids out of the car. There was about 6 of us. And I was just coming on, and the cop had this real big nose. And he drank a lot, and he's an older guy. And he's talking to my brother, and my brother said that I was looking at his nose really close. It looked like the moon. And he said, the cop grabbed me by the shoulder and go, "You okay, son?" And my brother goes, and I leaned back and went, "Oh, yeah."
Oh, I'm okay. I'm more than okay. I'm experienced.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was experienced. Depends, taking a drug like that. It's if you're with your friends, it's okay. I'd hate to take it and get arrested or something, right. But it's the drugs nowadays the kids take, I wouldn't even trust, I don't know. Mm-hmm. haven't had the enjoyment of all in my 6-7 years now. I've been
Wow, well, congratulations.
from anything, except if somebody told me, I'd go, what a bummer, man.
Doesn't sound fun, no. No, I hear you, but it is a tough thing to do, especially when it's part of your life.
It was where I grew up at, Pasadena, north of there, La Cañada. It's a big part of my life, the drugs, whatever. It's weird. I like being sober now. I like living in France.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What drew you to France? Was it the connection with your wife originally?
I just picked up and left in America.
Right.
Picked up and left. Just took a chance. And then it didn't work out with them. It was only going to be, it just wasn't going to get it to the stat. I'm not going to say the status. It's just they weren't, they would rather drink and party than to play music, So we had a chance to come down and visit her parents for a little bit. So we came down here, and her dad was sick and he passed. And we kind of just stayed here and helped her mom, So
it just kind of felt natural.
Yeah. Well, we came down here and I found some people to play with. And then I went to Hellfest and I met the guy to do the documentary, Antoine.
Oh, you met him at Hellfest. Very cool.
Yeah.
That's a festival I'd love to check out. I mean, that looks like a huge hub for metal.
Oh, I've been there a few times and it's great. It's not like in America festivals. Everybody's having a good time. I walk through the crowd and people notice me and they don't go, hey man, how you doing, Chris? I'm fine, man. So if they want something signed, a sign, walk on, in America, they'd be throwing shit crap at you or whatever. I don't know. The scene's kind of a little bit different here than it is in America, but they don't have the big festivals anymore in America.
Right. Are there festivals going on in Europe right now in different parts, or?
There hasn't been in a year. The Hellfest was canceled last year when the COVID hit, and it would be coming up in June. I think they canceled it again in June because no one's going to go if you're not vaccinated,
Yeah. How do you feel about that whole situation in regards to music and shows?
At first I used to blame Trump for it, but I don't think he could have actually stopped the virus coming into the country. Could have helped people by wearing masks and it's trying to help people. I blame him for 375,000 people dying. It shouldn't be that high. The disinformation to the people isn't fair. It's not fair. Whether you're a Trumper or not, it's just not fair to the people. And there's probably they have people in the hospitals I've seen on the internet that don't believe they have COVID. So a lot of people don't believe it. And it's sad, and it's, it's a weird question. How do I feel about it? I hate it, but it's just part of life. It's, it's 2020. It's what happened in 2020. Now it's 2021. Let's see if we can clean it up, get rid of it,
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and looking from an outside perspective as an American, how does it feel to you to see what's going on in terms of the climate politically? You mentioned the division. I mean, things with the election. Are you happy to not be there, or how does it make you feel?
Yeah, I'm happy I'm not there.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That's only natural.
I'm real happy. I feel sad for a lot of my friends that are there. I hate to tell you, the way I used to live in LA from the last 10, 15 years ago, and the way I lived, I would have got COVID for sure.
Because you were just out and about.
I had a little, the way I lived, I had a little place where I kind of stayed, but I was always messing around in other places. I would have got COVID, and then I got, 7 years ago, I was in the hospital for pneumonia, and they said that I have COPD in my lungs, or I have close to it. That's why I quit and I started smoking these. Then
there you go,
vaping, and so I would probably get COVID, and it would probably kill me. So
Wow.
I'm glad I'm here. It's a lot different. You know, they have they have lockdown. I don't know about in Canada. Are you guys on lockdown there?
Yeah, we started a little bit late, but lockdown, masks, and the gatherings. I mean, different parts of Canada, you can have some gatherings, but in mine, you can't because it was quite severe here.
What part?
Western Canada, Alberta.
You're in Alberta. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You must have toured here at some point.
Yeah, I've played there in the W.A.S.P days. I think 84 or 85 was Crocus, and then I think we headlined a few shows there. Last time I was actually in Canada, I think it was 97, 96. It could be. I went there to do some interviews, and it was when you were probably born. There was a comet in the air. I remember looking out the plane coming from Japan to Toronto, and I was watching it, you know. I actually got to fly first class one time in my life. And I remember looking at the comet, and it was in the air.
Wow.
You know,
that's amazing.
That. And that was the last time I was in Canada. W.A.S.P after that never really toured there. You know? Right.
But at that point, you guys came around. Talk to me about, speaking of W.A.S.P in LA, I mean, in the 80s, you guys, I can only imagine talking about sort of the debauchery that was happening. W.A.S.P rolling into the Capitol Records building and signing that deal. Do you have any memories of that sort of time, or is it just something that happened and you've moved on?
So it was an early part of my life. It was, you know, the hair metal bands kind of just came in. It was new, and we got signed in the end of 83 into 84. I was happy to make $120 a week. I was happy to get paid just to be able to play music, you know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad. I never really got out of that mindset through the whole period up to 89 till I left. So I never understood, and I wasn't really told how the business works. That's how I didn't get any publishing. I didn't watch how anything works or the contract. I'm the only other guy that wrote music, so it's my own fault. You know? But it was a beautiful era, you know, to live through, to go through. I wouldn't change nothing for nothing, you know.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
It was fun at Capitol. I used to at that time, the president of Capitol Records actually lived in La Cañada, where I'm from, and his wife knew my grandmother from the Mormon church.
Oh, wow.
It was weird. We went to a party up at his house. When we got signed, we went to a party at his house, which was close to it was in the same town where I grew up in. And I was laughing. I was standing outside his back porch. There's a horse trail behind his house. I go, see that horse trail? I used to ride my dirt bike up there all the time, you know, with no silencer, wah, real loud, bothering the horses. You know, the things progress so fast in the band. And I didn't understand about the records. I knew we sold records, but I didn't understand how the business works then. If I don't understand, and I was always kept out of it, you know, that's the way it is, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all right. Hey, I'm still alive. It's 38 years later, you know.
Exactly. Why should you change anything? I mean, it's been working great. And, you know, one of the things that you mentioned in the documentary Mean Man, which stood out to me, is that the vast majority of your colleagues that you started with are gone. They're either inactive or they're unfortunately no longer with us. What do you owe your staying power to? Because you're still here and you're still kicking ass.
Luck. I don't know. I quit drinking in 96. Okay, I quit. I haven't had a drink since then. So
that was it.
Well, I kept doing other things. You know what I mean? I didn't quit everything. Well, I kept doing chemicals. The chemicals aren't the problems that I had when I didn't go overboard. When I drank, I was like, man, if you feel this good, if twice that, you're going to feel twice as good. Mm-hmm. Well, that's just not how that works. You know?
Right.
But, and alcohol is pretty bad for the body, what it does, you know, through your liver and stuff like that. When I went to this program called the Schick Center to quit drinking, they do a whole, they take your blood and run it to they send it to some place that does a toxicology on you.
Okay.
See how your body's doing. And the guys, they came back, and I thought they were going to say, Chris, your liver's shot. And and the guy said, oh, your liver's working fine. I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
Even you were shocked.
I was totally shocked. I mean, I was totally shocked, you know.
How much alcohol are we talking? Would you wake up in the morning and drink, or would it just be a nighttime thing?
Sometimes I would, if I had nothing to do all day.
Right.
If I had nothing to do all day and there was booze there, I would be drinking.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd be drinking. But on the road, when years ago in probably 82, we played the Troubadour, and I had a big, Tony, the drummer, and I ate at a pizza joint, and I drank a pitcher of beer before I played. I was a little buzzed.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got off stage, I almost hit the ground. I was so burned out.
Wow.
Because I was a little buzzed. It was really hard to do the show because it used to be really, really physical. You know, you got to jump around for an hour, and, you know, you sweat hard, jump. It was, and when I got off stage, I went, I will never, 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 ever do that again. And so I never touched one beer. The show, get out of my way. I'm going to do what the hell I want, you know?
So you were able to keep it until after the performance.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And then after the show, it's not my problem. I don't got to worry about how to get to the next show. That's not my job. It's somebody else's job. My job is to have a good time.
Someone will get me there.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
wow.
So, and then, you know, I don't know, you drink, you know, I used to have a quart of Stolies on my rider. I'd polish that off in about an hour straight, you know, and then if you grow up with alcohol, it's in your family, you're just used to it, you know. I was scared not to when I stopped drinking, but it's once I stop, I just see such idiots, what it does to people, and how, you know, the year I stopped, I would go out with my friends and watch them drink, and I'd just go, you go, whoa, man, I don't want to get like that. It just makes you stupid.
With the same people that you used to drink with, you're seeing them.
Some of them, yeah. Some of them, yeah. They just get stupid, and you see that from a different perspective, and you go, man, I don't want to be stupid like that. You know?
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. One of the people you mentioned you had some great times with, especially on tour, was Tony Iommi, who you credit as one of the people that you really, looked up to before you were really in the game. What types of memories did you have with him?
Well, that's when I was drinking.
Okay.
He was definitely one of my biggest inspirations, because the sound of what he, you know, played. He was playing in Black Sabbath at the time, but it was Black Sabbath featuring Tony Iommi.
Right.
You know, I think we played in Canada too with Sabbath.
Mm-hmm. And with Eric Singer on the drums, correct?
Eric Singer,
right,
was on the drums. Danny, I forget his name. The guitar player in Anthrax, his brother played bass. He was the bass player. Tony playing guitar. Jeff Nichols was on the keyboards, who was always did Sabbath, but he's passed now. And Glenn Hughes sang at first. We're sound checking. I never met him, and he walks out, and he was heard us sound checking, and heard my guitar, I guess, or whatever. And he came out, and I looked over, and I have a guitar with crosses on the neck, because he had them.
Yeah. Talking
to my roadie, I walked up to him and stuck my hand out, and first thing he did was point at the crosses on my guitar. I started laughing. I wasn't embarrassed. I just shook his hand. I go, "You're one of my biggest influences," you know. And he was cool. He took me under his wing, like, you know, and you know, he was a good, just really warm-hearted person, really cool guy, man. He, you know, and then when he found out that I knew Eddie Van Halen, it was even, you know, we went and saw Van Halen, Tony, Sabbath, and I was with the Sabbath.
Really?
But, yeah, Van Halen they were playing 4 nights at the Iommi. And I went down there on the Sabbath bus, you know. We had a good time.
Did you guys stay backstage, or were you guys out in the crowd?
no, we went in the back in Ed's tuning room. We were all snorting, blowing, drinking, and drawing it up and have a good time and talking, you know.
Wow.
And I had a picture with Ed and Tony and I lost it somewhere. It's, you know, from, you know, getting a divorce and moving and going and this and that. Right. I don't know where it went.
Hopefully that turns up. That's an incredible photo. And I mean, rest in peace to Eddie, of course. I mean, what a huge hit for the metal community, you know, for everybody.
It's sad I'll never talk to him again. You know, it's you know, you got to look at it this way. In 100 years from right now, from this moment, the world's going to be probably in the same spot and we're all going to be gone.
Yeah. Sad but true, right?
It's the way it is, you know.
It definitely is. No avoiding it.
Yeah, some people go a little bit sooner than others. I'm just happen to be one of the luckier ones still here, you know.
Definitely. And I mean, you said that even your own family and maybe even yourself said you didn't know how long you were going to live the way that you were going. And I mean, I think part of the reason people say congratulations is because it's incredible to see how you've continued to grow, you know?
Well, God, when I was in my 20s, I didn't give a crap about what was going to happen when I was 40s. You know, I didn't really care about making it to 40. I was like a dog. I just cared about the moment.
Right. Whatever happens next.
Yeah. What happens tomorrow happens tomorrow. I just cared about the moment. I burned the candle at both ends, you know. Right. I'm real lucky I'm not a heroin addict. Because every time I've done it, make me sick. Thank God.
Yes. Honestly.
God. Or else I got a lot of friends that are heroin addicts, or I'd probably be a heroin addict, but it's opiates just make me sick, you know. Uppers slow me down. You know.
It does the reverse.
Yeah. I don't know why.
Interesting.
I used to be able to do a bunch of meth, smoke some, you know, put it in coffee, whatever, and fall asleep.
You would actually mix it into coffee.
Any which way it gets in your body, smoking it. When I got a record deal, I used to shoot drugs a long time ago. When I got a record deal, I was partying with Tony and I was looking at the rig and I went, you know, if I keep doing this, I'm going to lose everything I've ever worked. Here's a chance I got to do a dream musically. So I used to love shooting coke. That's what it says. If I'm going to do coke, I'm going to snort it or smoke it. You know, that's so smoking crack as kids. That's like kindergartners to me.
Really?
After you shoot the stuff,
right?
You know, so I just threw away the needle then, and I don't want to. I did one time years ago just to see what it was, to see if it had the same effect.
And did it have the same effect?
Yeah, it did, but it wasn't as. It was the more ritual of strong. It was a pain in the ass. It was a pain in the ass. It wasn't worth doing anymore. It was fun when you're young, but it was just a pain in the ass. It's just, you know, it wasn't like just twisting open the top and guzzling the booze. It was like you had to make it.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for shop class. I just wanted to get a buzz on, you know.
Oh yeah. No,
that makes sense.
But that's just, you know, I love living here because the cops don't bother me. There's there's not that much racial tensions, you know.
Yeah, that's a relief, of course.
Well, when you're in LA, it's you know, there's a lot of racial crap goes on in LA. You know, whether people realize it or not, you know. I can't help being who I am. And you know, plus being Mormon, they're not look at the Mormon church, you know.
Some questionable things.
Well, they're mostly, I don't want to get into it. I'm not going to say Trumpers, but they're all white. Do you ever have you ever seen a black Mormon?
I personally haven't.
No.
You think that's by design in some ways? I
don't know. if you read the Book of Mormon, it does say some pretty bad things in there. It says a few trippy things in there that God christened. I never read the Book of Mormon. I just know from what I've heard in the stories. God christened Abel black because he betrayed Jesus or something like that. The black race, they used to think the black race is a cursed race. I grew up thinking that. But it's not. You get older, you open your eyes to people can't help what they're born. You can only help. They can only help their actions the way they are.
Yeah. Do you think traveling helped you a lot with that, going around and meeting people?
Yeah. And then, going to Japan kind of opened my eyes about religion, really big time. Because on the computers and stuff, it's 2021 there. But they don't look at it as 2021. To us, this is 2021. Why? What does that mark us to the earth? AD BC. Before Christ.
Right. Right.
So,
and they don't view it that way.
No. Our calendar locks us in to Jesus Christ. Their calendar doesn't. It's done by, the year of the dog. Or whatever.
Right.
And I was like, I thought about that, and it's like, wow, man, that's how religion gets shoved down people's throat in America.
It's supposed to be a separation of church and state, but sort of everything is tied into religion.
Well, it's just a calendar. Our calendar goes to AD BC.
Right. That's pretty crazy. It is.
It's right there. AD BC. Everything's tied into Jesus Christ. That's the starting times.
Exactly. It is. That is very weird and something interesting to point out. Chris, this has been an awesome conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time, and everybody I'm sure is really excited for Mean Man, the documentary. What can you tell people about what to expect with this documentary coming up?
Well, it just shows it shows the real Chris. There's the real me. There is a fake. I grew up. I don't want to badmouth W.A.S.P, but most of W.A.S.P everything said about W.A.S.P and does is a big lie. Believe it or not.
In the film.
No, not in my film. My film's real. That's what I want to do.
Right. Okay.
Back's just real, the real person. I didn't want to, have a screen, pull a screen over and be a fake whatever. It just, they should like it. It just shows part of my life. It's not like the Osbournes.
Right. It's legitimate.
I could, if they'd had a camera around me, people would trip out. Ozzy's just Ozzy. That's the way he is. He can't help it.
Yeah, you can't change a thing.
That's the way the guy is. He was messed up at birth. Alcohol and drugs did not get him.
That's a
I
good
love
point.
that guy though, man. He's a great guy.
Absolutely, I love him too. He's the man.
Oh, he used to come up to my house for barbecues all the time.
Wow.
In L.A.
Now that must have been a party.
No. I used to be married to a girl named Ford, and her manager was Sharon.
Oh.
So I was. Yeah. They'd come up to my house for barbecues all the time. He's great, man. I love being around the guy. He's he can't tie his shoes, but he can sing like a motherfucker.
That's all we need him to do.
It's just the way he is, man. He's great.
That's so amazing.
I used to drink too, and he used to drink. There's some. Yeah, it's a wonder he's still going. I mean, he's one of the lucky ones. Look at Randy Rhoads. He wasn't lucky.
Yeah. Rest in peace. There's one more thing I wanted to ask you. Did you guys reach out to Blackie at all for comment in the documentary?
I didn't, but Antoine did, and he said he didn't have the time to do it. So,
do you think that's true?
Johnny Rod did, I don't know. I don't know. You know, there's when I left I really never left. He just got another guitar player. They never even told me. I found out that they were doing shows. You know, so I'm like, wow, I must be out. Never called me. But since then, I've dug in and found out some shitty stuff. What happened to me, and he knows that I know that, and he probably will never want to talk to me ever again. You know. I mean,
so the relationship's over.
Oh, it's over. It's over. Plus, it's. Have you ever been around a narcissist?
I have. Okay. Working at a comedy club.
Okay, well, he's a narcissist, and it's just, you know, I'm not. I'm. A lot of times, let's say the bus is going down the highway. This is an analogy. The bus is going down the highway. This is why him and I never got along. Dressing on Blackie Lawless, okay, goes out, does the Blackie Lawless show, and I will say, yeah, the guy's got a voice, an incredibly sounding voice, you know. Goes out, does the little Blackie Lawless show, gets off stage, takes off Blackie Lawless, becomes Steve Duran, Edward Duran, gets back on the bus. Now there's Chris. Chris gets off the bus, goes in the dressing room, puts on his stage clothes. Still Chris. Goes out and does the Chris show or whatever the fuck it is, you know, play. Right. Gets off stage, takes off the stage clothes, is still Chris. So nothing ever changed for me. Being on or off the stage, I was the same person. I never put on a persona. That's why him and I never, you know, I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to put on something that I'm not. It's not the way I grew up. It's not the way people in California grow up.
What you see is what you get.
Usually if somebody's born in California, that's what you get, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever met a musician that was born and raised in California?
I have. And you can definitely, there is an energy there. There's no question.
They're different people. Metallica, a lot of the guys in Metallica are from there. You know, I know Lars, but it's the other guys. Slayer's from there.
Yes.
Born and raised. I couldn't, some of the guys in Warrant were. Rats, a few of the guys in Rat, Robin was.
Crew.
It's just that there's a different mindset versus West Coast, East Coast. It's different. It's weird.
There definitely is. It is. You can feel it.
Yeah, and don't take me wrong. I'm not saying the East Coast guys are bad. You know,
no.
It's a different. You saw it when in the hip hop era too, against Biggie Smalls, Tupac, and all that crap. It happened. It was the same in the hip hop situation too.
East and West.
They calmed that down. The West Coast, East Coast thing. It was like that in the music, in the rock and roll music thing too.
It's true. Do you ever listen to hip hop?
No.
Never.
It's Phil from Motorhead. I can remember the song he'd have me listen to "If I Died Tonight" by Tupac. He'd like that. Phil listened to a lot of it in the car, and I still listen to Johnny Winter and Humble Pie. You know, even today.
That's it, and that's fair.
I just figured out how to get any song off YouTube on my recorder. I got a little Tascam recorder.
Oh, nice.
And I record off the headphone output. You know. So you don't have to download any song, but you have to listen. You
listen to the whole thing.
I have to. So I recorded every Beatles album, every Stones album, Pink Floyd, Black Sabbath. Got every Black Sabbath song I could every one they did. I think it's almost 300 of them on a card.
You'll be set. That's pretty much all you need.
Well, I got a Motown one, a disc with Motown with all the Motown songs I like, with the Frankie Robinson, Tears of a Clown, Stevie Wonder, Aretha Franklin, whatever. I got so I spent about 4 or 5 months all day recording. I got my record collection. I love it.
And now you got the whole thing set, so you must be enjoying that.
I was just finished. I have a whole list of all the artists I ever wanted. Last month I finished up. Did from the very first album of Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny. There was an album before that too. I didn't know. And then, man, when I hit Firepower, I just shit my pants, man. That record.
That's a crazy record, isn't it?
Well, it's not that. It's just the sound of it. I mean,
Right.
I about cried. I wish I had the studio and stuff that they record. You know, they have a nice studio to record the stuff in, and it's just the guitars just unbelievably good sounding to me.
Yeah.
I go, whoa, man! It makes me feel like quitting playing, but I'm not. You know, I record with what I got and do the best with what I got. You know, that's the way it is.
Are you working on any music now?
I'm in the process of it. I got some songs that I got to finish for my the record Unbearable Influence.
Awesome.
I had an EP, 4 songs of it come out called Under the Influence, and then that's the EP's extended play, 4 songs, and the LP's long play. I'm going to finish it up. Sarah wants me to do it with a drummer playing drums instead of on the computer. So I got to wait till the COVID's done to bring the drummer in to play.
Cool.
Finish the songs. So
nice. Well, people can definitely be excited for that. I mean, the documentary, music, you got a ton of stuff coming for them. And Chris, thank you again so much for your time. I really appreciate the insight you shared, and just keep doing what you're doing. We're all loving it.
All right. Is that enough time on your...
That is. Thank you so much. Rock and roll.
All right. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and stay COVID free. Wear a mask until you're inoculated. All right?
That's right. Thank you, my friend. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.